Welcome students watching to our activity time. Now in our activity time today, we are going to be talking about America and what a great country America is. Now I know that many of our students watching and our boys and girls in this classroom, you are from the country of America. But did you realize how big America is? Sometimes some of us in our cities and towns and communities that we live in, we might say, oh, I live in such a big city or such a big town. But our country is even bigger than that. Now I want you to notice my country flashcard. And this country card, it just starts to show a little bit about how big our country is. Now, before we start talking and we start looking at our country, I want us to notice that this is called a map. A map shows me a piece of land. Sometimes my map could show me all of our world. Sometimes a map might show something called a continent. Other times a map might just show me your country, or a map could even be so small it could show just a part of a city or a town or a community, like the one that you live in. Now, there's a way that we are able to read our maps. When we read in first grade, we take our vowels and we take our consonants and we put them together to make words. But when we read a map, we use something completely different. Maybe you saw it at the top of my map. Students watching, did you see it? Up at the top of my map, I have what is called a compass rose. And this compass rose shows me direction. And direction is how I read a map. Now notice very carefully my compass rose, and you are going to see some letters. Many letters that we recognize. Students watching, I hope you recognize the letters I have on my compass rose. Right at the very top of my compass rose is the letter N. N stands for north. North.
North.
Let's try again. North.
North.
Students watching, I hope you saw that N stands for north. North is all the way up. You can even see the way my finger is pointing. I am pointing up toward the north. Well, the opposite or completely different from north is called south. On my compass rose, you're going to see the letter S. S stands for south. South.
South.
South.
South.
Oh, and our students watching could hear our boys and girls in the classroom. North goes up. South goes down. But those are not the only directions I need to read my map. Right here on my compass rose, you see the letter E. E stands for east. East.
East.
East.
East.
Students watching, what does E stand for? And help us, Hannah A., what does E stand for on my compass?
East.
It does. It stands for east. Well, the opposite of east is the direction that W stands for. On my compass rose, when you see W, it means west. West.
West.
West.
West.
Nice job. What does W stand for, Jacelyn?
West.
Very nice job. Now, boys and girls in this classroom and students watching, we want to be able to read books, but we also want to be able to read our maps. And the way we read our maps is with direction. I want you to watch me as I show you the direction. Now, I'm going to turn my back to you, and here's the reason why. When you stand up in just a little bit to join me, boys and girls and students watching, we're going to all be facing the same way so we can have the same direction. When I point up, that is N on my compass, and that means north. When I point down, that is S on my compass, and that means south. When I point to the right on my compass, that's E, and it means east. When I point to my left, that's W on my compass, and W means west. Watch me as I do it again. North, south, east, west. Now, students watching, do you think you're ready to join us? Boys and girls in this classroom and students watching, stand. Xavier was my first one. Oh, sit down. Oh, we can't read our maps. We're going to be doing some traveling if you're this tired. Can you be faster? Stand. Nice job. Let's start together. North, south, east, west. Nice. Let's do it again. Students watching, join us. North,
South.
east,
West.
just my girls and girls watching, stay standing. Boys, have a seat. Girls and girls watching, let's do our directions so we can read our map. North, south, east, west. Good job. Boys and boys watching, stand up and let's do our directions together. North, south, east,
West.
nice job. Have a seat, and students watching may sit too. Now, I want to let you know something, a little bit about our directions. Over here, our letter E for east. That is the direction the sun rises in the morning. Here is our W for west. That is the direction the sun sets in the evening. Now that we know how to read our map, we can start to travel across our map of the United States. Now, looking at my map right here, it looks like our country is very big. If you think it looks big, give me a smile. Students watching, are you smiling at me? It does look like a big country. And notice all of the faces that you see on our country. Wherever you travel, whatever direction you go, north or south or east or west, you are going to see all kinds of people. And they all are very different. Another word for different is unique. Unique means special. Now take just a moment and look quietly around our classroom. Students watching, you join in looking around our classroom. I want you to see some of the people that we have in here. None of us look the same. None of our students watching are saying, oh, well, that person looks just like someone else. Now, students watching, did you notice something? We have twins in this room. That means they have the exact same birthday. They have the same mom and dad. But even our twins look different. All of us look different, just like the boys and girls and the moms and dads who live in America look very different. Now we're looking right back up at our map. We're remembering our directions, and let's start to travel across the United States. Right up here, right in the northeast, you can see Andy. Andy lives in the northeast, and I want you to notice something about Andy's picture of where he lives. Isn't it beautiful? Maybe some of our students watching, you might live in the northeast, and I can see it is fall time there. In the northeast, it gets very cold. And there, the leaves change colors to red and to yellow. Orange is a color they change to. And Andy lives in a beautiful place in the fall time. When we travel to the south, we have Colby. Now, Colby lives in our nation's capital. If you know what our nation's capital is, give me a smile. Our nation's capital is called Washington, D.C., and Colby gets to visit many things there. As we continue to travel down south, I want you to notice something. Right down here is Carlos. Carlos lives in Puerto Rico. Now, Puerto Rico is a place where they have islands. An island is a piece of land surrounded by water on all four sides. Now, as we're continuing to travel, notice Maria. Maria lives in the southwest. Now, where Maria lives, and maybe some of our students watching live there, it is very hot and it is very dry. Maria lives in a desert. That desert, they don't get very much rain, but God even put beautiful things in the desert. Here you see a plant. It's called a cactus. And even the cactus, God put a flower to show his beautiful creation that he made. Right down here we have Lana, and Lana lives in the state of Hawaii. Now, Hawaii is also made up of islands, a piece of land surrounded on all four sides with water, and Lana has many beautiful beaches she can see. Up at the top in our northwest, we have Eric. Eric lives in a place where the beaches have a lot of rocks. So at the top of those rocks, they will put lighthouses. And those lighthouses help the ship stay safe so they don't run into those rocks at night. Now, notice over here is Otto. Otto has a box around his state, not because that's where his state is, but because my map is not big enough to show his state, the state of Alaska. Alaska is way, way far in the north. So Alaska can be a very cold state. Now the last place I want us to visit is right in the middle of our country, and Amy lives there. She lives in what's called the Midwest. The Midwest is where a lot of farms are. A lot of times, a lot of our food is grown right in the middle of our country, close to where Amy lives. Now students watching, did you see a place near where you live? Maybe we traveled to one of the places close to where your town or community is. Now, we talked about our directions and how we read a map. Do you remember those directions? Students watching, do you remember what directions we have? Everybody stand to join me. And let's start all the way at the top with north, and let's start together. North, south, east, west. Nice job. Have a seat, and I have a poem I want to share with you about our directions. Watch me as I do the motions. Now remember, my back is going to be to you so that we have the same directions and we're facing the same way. North, south, east, west. We love our home the best. Now students watching and boys and girls in our classroom, stand up. Let's do the motions and say this poem together. North, south, east, west. We love our home the best. Have a seat. Now, students watching, your home might be different from our home, but I hope that you do love your home the very best. Now, as we're talking about directions, there's something else we get to do for a fun activity. And just a little bit, I'm going to call up some hard workers to come to the front of the room. And those hard workers are going to get to ask a question to a friend. They're going to find out what direction they like the best. Now, before I call anyone up, stand up. Let's do our directions again. North, south, east, west. Good job. Have a seat, but our poem switches up our directions a little bit. So be really careful as you listen to me say this poem. North, east, south, west. Which way shall I go? I don't know. Which way do you think is best? Would you like to try it with me? Students watching, you join us. Stand up. Notice our directions are a little bit different. North, east, south, west. Which way shall I go? I don't know. Which way do you think is best? Now have a seat. Come up to the front, Jaden L. Her eyes have been right on me. Come up to the front, Willow. Come up to the front for us, Xavier. Let's see if they can do this poem, and they're going to ask the next person which way they think is best. Jaden, you and I are going to start together. Then Willow and I will do it. Then Xavier, it's going to be your turn to ask the question. Those in your seats and students watching, you can make sure you listen as they say this poem. You ready? Why don't you face this way so we're facing the same way as our students watching? Good, they saw your smiles for just a little bit. Now, just Jaden, you turn toward Willow. Willow turn toward Jaden. Here we go. Let's say it, Jaden. North, east, south, west. Which way shall I go? I don't know. Which way do you think is best? All right, Willow, turn to Xavier. Here we go. North, east, south, west. Which way shall I go? I don't know. Which way do you think is best? And Xavier, you just get to answer. What direction do you think is best?
East.
He likes to go to the east. Students watching, is that your favorite direction to go? Thank you. You can have a seat. Now, I'm going to show you a map of our United States that looks a little bit different from this map you see here. Here you just see the land of our country. But this map right here, you can see how our country has been divided into states. Our country has 50 states. Now we are all one country, but we have been divided into 50 states. Now students watching, as you are looking at our picture of the map, maybe you can see the state that you live in, but notice something. We still have the same directions because this is the way we read our map. But this time it's a little bit different. We do not have our compass rose right at the top. Instead, we have an arrow with the words. Look at this first word I'm pointing to, and you can even see the direction I'm pointing. What direction am I pointing to, students watching? And what direction do you see me point to, Leah? Up, which is north. So north is all the way up. Now the opposite of north you can see with this word and this arrow. What word do you see that is the opposite of north? North, Rio. What's this word? Yes, it is south. Students watching, did you see that it is south? Now over here, this is the direction that the sun rises. What direction is the direction the sun rises, Isaiah? Now, Isaiah, stand fast so we can hear your answer.
West.
Oh, not west. It's the opposite of west, the other side. If you know, give me a smile. Students watching, do you know? What direction is this, Willow?
South.
Not south. South goes this direction. North, south,
East.
east is it. And Isaiah, what's our last direction on the map?
West.
West is correct. Now, notice not only do we have directions, but we also have some water around our country. And you can see the names of the water around our 50 states. On this side, on the east side, you see the Atlantic Ocean. When we travel all the way across our country and we're on the west side, you see the Pacific Ocean. What ocean do you see on the east side of America? Jacelyn? Students watching, do you remember? This one's a hard one, isn't it? I'll say it. You say it after me. Atlantic Ocean.
Atlantic Ocean.
It is. It's the Atlantic Ocean. On the west side, we have the Pacific Ocean. Say it with me. Pacific Ocean. Yes, we have the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. Now notice right here some of the names of our states. If you recognize the name of the state of Florida, give me a smile. I see a lot of smiles from boys and girls in our classroom. Students watching, are you smiling at me? What about up here? Here's the state of Illinois. If you recognize that name, give me a smile. Maybe some of our students watching live there. As I travel west, I come to the big state of California. Maybe some of our students watching recognize the state of California. Now, I gave just a couple of names of our states, but how many states do we have in our country? If you remember, give me a smile. Students watching, do you remember? How many states do we have, Kira?
50.
Did you know that our country didn't used to be this big? We used to have just 13 states in our country, but now we're a big country with 50 states.